If you came here for encouragement as a new or an aspiring financial advisor, you've got the wrong video. Time to think like an investor. Hello and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Josh, and on this channel we discuss everything about personal finance and what it's like to be a financial advisor if that's the sort of thing you're interested in. And that's exactly what today's about, because when I first got into the business as a financial professional, helping people advise on their assets and their investments and their insurance and all these sorts of things, one of the things that I was kind of kept in the dark about was how much this was all going to cost me. And maybe you're somebody who is looking to get into financial services, you want to become an advisor, maybe you want to be a CFP or you want to help people manage investments. Very few people are going to warn you and tell you about all the costs involved in that. So today, that is what I want to dive into and kind of run through my receipts on what it really took to get up and running as an advisor in those first few years. Now, in this business, one of the things you find pretty quickly is that unlike school, these educational platforms and institutions we have in the financial services industry, it's very quick that you realize these are for-profit credentialing machines. They're not exactly there to educate you per se. I mean, they do a good job of helping you understand things, but you learn very quickly that you just get kind of gouged at every corner. Every time you have to write an exam, they're going to charge you a fee. Every time you want a new set of textbooks, they're going to charge you a fee. And you can almost tell that it's this profit-generating machine that you have to go through to get your education. So it does end up being costly, and you can tell these companies are really here to make money. For me, the first thing that I had to do if I wanted to specialize in investments specifically was I needed to get my securities exams done. And in Canada, those are called the Canadian Securities Course. You're probably going to have to do something like that or the Series 7. And for me, it came in Securities Course Part 1 and Securities Course Part 2. So I got those two done, and the grand total cost for just that course was $1,034. Now, that got me the exam marks and allowed me to pass, but I still had to register my funds license, which is $400 per year. And if we think about it, I had that license for about 3 years. So there was another $1,200. So right now we're sitting at about $2,200 or so just to get licensed on the investment side and get operating in the business. Next, one of the major things you're going to have is an understanding or a license to do insurance. I think when we do financial planning, a big part of the products are the investment side and the insurance side. And typically where I'm from, I have to do something called the LLQP, or the Life License Qualification Program. That's this one right here. Add that to the list, and that was about $400 to do. And after that, I was able to apply to have a license to do insurance. And of course, it's not just the program you have to buy, you also have to get the license to do insurance, which costs me about $200 every single year. I think it's $250 on an annual basis. Now with these, you can kind of operate in the business. You can carry yourself out as an advisor and you can distribute the kind of products you need, but you're gonna need something called errors and omissions insurance, because in our business, if we screw up with a client's money and they come after us and sue us, that could put us completely out of business, and then we're in a tough spot because there's all these clients wondering where their advisor is when he's really just in jail. So we need to make sure that we have errors and omissions insurance. It's just insurance to make sure that if I screw up and I get sued, I can cover the cost. And I have to pay about $80 a month or $960 per year for errors and omissions insurance. Now, that's not it, okay? We have our licenses, we have our insurance, but you're gonna have to work at a company that allows you to distribute these things and supports you and sponsors you and trains you. That might be a big bank or a big insurance company. And with me, I had $80 bi-weekly deducted every single paycheck, even though I hadn't been making any money yet, because these companies will encourage that you come up with your own office expenses. When I used the photocopier, when I had all sorts of supplies, when I had to use the mail system, they charged me for all that. I had software on my computer that they had given me. I had to pay $80 bi-weekly or $3,120 per year in deductions off of my income and my pay just to be in the business. So there you have it. That's all you really need to get started. That's the bare minimum. Insurance exam, investments exam, get those licenses done, get your insurance, and make sure you're set up with a business, and now you're fully operating. For me, if I look back and think about it, I mean, just these exams and the basic stuff I needed to get started, that ended up costing me about $7,900, even close to $8,000. And to me, it's just crazy, because with $8,000, that probably could have afforded me like a 4-month backpacking trip through Europe, or it could have been like going out with my friends for like 80 separate nights, probably that I wouldn't remember. This is
a real tattoo!
But either way, it's a lot of money that I invested in this just to purely get up and running, and especially because that's not it. All I have now is the basic licenses. I don't have any credentials. I don't have the CFP behind my name. There's other things that I need to get to actually be established in the business. And if I'm completely honest, this stuff is not nearly enough to make you confident talking to a client. Sure, it gets you licensed and it allows you to operate, but it is not even scratching the surface on the kind of wisdom and things you need to know to feel confident working with a family and their finances. From there, I decided that I wanted to get my CFP designation. That puts letters behind my name, it makes me look official, and now every time I have some young kid client who wants to become a client of ours and their parent is way overprotective and wants to see that I'm some sort of established figure, they know that at least I'm a CFP, and that does happen. It's absolutely ridiculous. The first thing for me after having this core curriculum, we call it, done, is I had to do some other exams just to get the basics of my CFP ready so that I was eligible to progress through the process. And that came down to Financial Planning 1 and 2. Another 2 courses that I had to take just to get myself in the door to do my CFP. These exams were $620 and $670 respectively, so another $1,300 give or take just to take those 2 additional courses. Now that I had my core curriculum done to get the first level of my CFP written, I had to pay $1,300 just to go register for another exam that would allow me to become what was called a level 1. So it's kind of the step before CFP, and after that, I got this. So far, this is about what $8,000 to $10,000 has gotten me. This plaque, that's about it. Now, after getting the level 1 exam finished and I was certified with a nice big plaque, then that allowed me to get into what's called the CFP Capstone Course. And this was the most miserable part of any studying project I've ever been involved with. I had to create an 80-page financial plan with like 40 hyperlink spreadsheets that are linked within the plan and all this sort of thing. And it was required as the capstone project to show an instructor or to show some educational institution that you actually know what the heck you're doing. So I had to pay another $960 just to take a capstone course. It took me about 2 to 3 months and I had to build some massive financial plan. But eventually, after I passed that course, it gave me the ability to finally apply for my CFP exam. But wait, there's more. I had to pay $730 just to register for the CFP exam. Never mind all the studying, all the notes, and all the practice materials it took to actually pass it. It was another $730 just to take it. But luckily, I passed on the first try and got myself this. This is the CFP certification. This is my little plaque, like a university degree. And the funny thing is, it's not in a casing, it's not in like a frame because I snapped the casing on the way here. So that shows how much I value this thing. Now, finally, I had my CFP, I had the credential, I could put it on the wall in my office, but then I get an email saying in order to activate your CFP and actually register it so you can practice, it's another $790 activation fee. And I'm smiling just thinking about this because it's unbelievable. When I look back at these receipts, I was like, I cannot believe this. Because you're trying to get started in your career as an advisor and you're not really making money, you're kind of apprehensive about whether you're gonna get clients or not. And then every month there's like a new $800, a new $900, a new $1,000. There's always these different costs you have to keep coming up with. So it was another $790 just to get certified. Now, in addition to that, every single year I have to renew that certification for another $500. And since I've had my CFP for, I believe, almost 2 full years now, that means I paid $1,000 in renewal fees, in addition to the $700 I paid to activate it. So in total for the CFP, that was about an additional $6,800 on top of just this base casework that I had to pay to get up and running and to get registered. This puts the grand total of all my credentials and all my studying at $13,700, which, if I put that in Bitcoin back in 2015, I'd have about $960,000 to my name instead of these pieces of paper. So anyways, guys, I hope you got some value out of today's video, kind of talking through how much it really costs to get started as a financial advisor and get your very first credentials. If you got any value out of this video whatsoever, make sure to hit that subscribe button below, hit the like button, and turn on post notifications for more videos just like this one every single week. Until next time.